Hello, this story comes from r/am I the asshole. Most caregiver asks, am I the A for asking my girlfriend to move with me after she's done with grad school? We've been dating for 2 years when she moved away for grad school for 4 years to the Midwest. We are both from the East Coast. Now 2 years into school, I moved out west. I'm an outdoor enthusiast, so I've been digging it out here. My friend out here offered us to be roommates, and I went on a bit of a whim. I realized that by the time she's done school in less than 2 years, I'm probably not going to be ready to move back east. I've invested a lot of time and money into just getting started with hobbies out here, and I want to spend a few years getting a return on my investment and all the gear and classes that I've put forth. I've asked her about moving out here after school. I was originally thinking about 3 years afterwards. I'm more than happy to move back to wherever she wants. Also, I am willing to revisit plans after a year and cut them short if she really hated it. Her answer was a resounding no. She would consider continuing long distance after school and letting me live out here. I don't like this idea, as long distance is really difficult and I have no interest in extending for longer than necessary. I asked, is it worth pursuing the current long distance relationship further? Her response, I'm backing her into an ultimatum breaking up versus move out there. I've tried to make it clear that this is not some plan to trap her, it's just how things have worked out. And then OP has some back and forth conversation here. Her reasons, my responses. Her, she just doesn't want to move here, not her plan. Me, I respect that. I didn't quite want her to move for school, but I'd not for a second get in the way. We also agreed that it wasn't really worth it for me to move out temporarily and left it at that. If she had wanted me to, I had no issue doing so. In fact, I did browse apartments and jobs out there to consider the plan even without anyone asking me to do so. Her, she would miss her friends and family. Me, I totally get that. This is not a forever thing. Plus, I live within 30 minutes of a major airport that flies directly to near her hometown. It's not like getting here requires 3 layers and a 6-hour drive. Plus, for my own friends and family that came to visit me, they told me how refreshing and inspiring it was to come out somewhere totally new and experience it together. Her, it sidelines her career development. Me, she would have no problem getting a very well-paying job out here with her degree. Plus, you still have 30 plus years to work anywhere else. Her, I won't want to leave after we get roots down there. Me, not sure where this trust issue stems from. It's not like I'm going to back out of a plan that we both agreed to. Her, it still delays family and settling down. Me, well, you have a guy who's totally willing and able to do so. I have zero problem and look forward to settling down with you, having kids, dogs, horses, and a bunch of land. I want to spend the rest of my life with this girl. I was just so shocked by the response that it hurt and is really leading me to recalculate some decisions. I don't think you're an asshole for letting her know that the long distance is getting to you and that it's not something you really want to pursue for several more years. I mean, I think that's just being reasonable to say, I don't want to do long distance after you graduate. Is there any way you would be willing to move here? And if she's not willing to move there, then I agree with you, then that's just how things worked out, and you might have to end things at this point because you don't want to do the long distance, which makes complete sense. It's not something people want to do forever, and those relationships tend to have like a deadline on them anyway. I also don't think she's an a-hole for not wanting to move if that's not something she wants to do, and you can't really force her to or try to force her to. And I don't think you were really backing her into a corner. I think you were just saying and letting her know that this is a breaking point for you. It's either you're 2 years from now we move in together, or let's just part ways. I don't think you're trying to be some type of way. That's how you feel. The only thing I didn't really like is your comment about having a guy who's totally willing and able to settle down with you. I'm sure she could find another guy, just like you'll find another girl. But overall, I really don't think anyone's an a-hole in this story. I just think you're two people that may have run their course at this point. Good luck to you. Hello, this story comes from Am I the A? Unimportant Can asks, am I the A for not wanting to split the utility bill after my boyfriend moved in? I live in a 2-bedroom apartment with a roommate. We have lived together for a year and sort of become friends, so we know about each other's comings and going. And we always let each other know if we have company over. I have the master room and pay 55% of the rent, and she pays 45%. And we split the utility bill by half, which is hydro and internet. The rest is covered in the rent, including parking. Neither of us have a car, so we use the parking for our friends when we have them over. I have a boyfriend, and what we do is stay 1 week at his place and 1 week at mine. So I just stay 15 days at my place, and it's usually even less because I travel constantly for work, and he doesn't stay at my place without me. Today I told my roommate I want to take the parking for myself because my boyfriend has a car, and him parking the visitor is not feasible, and I'll pay 100% of the parking, which means she has to pay $50 less a month for rent. Parking is $100 in my apartment. She asked if we will split the utilities, and I said no, because we stay at my place less than 15 days a month, and it tallies in the end. She got angry and said I'm exploiting her. Am I the A? And OP clarifies that the internet and the hydro bills stay the same every month, and that the boyfriend's not technically moving in, it's just that with them doing the 1 week on, 1 week off, he's there quite a bit. And she also clarifies that she's not asking her roommate to pay more for the hydro and electric. Her roommate wants to split it 3 ways, and she wants to keep it split just between her and her roommate. I really don't think that you're an A for not wanting to split the bill, because if you're not there and the bill stays the same, it really doesn't affect anything. So I can see not wanting to split it 3 ways, but I also feel like if you have such a good rapport with your roommate, that this might be a situation where even though what you're saying makes sense, you might just have to suck it up and do it just to keep the peace with your roommate. I think, in my opinion, I probably would just pay the extra to keep the peace, because having a roommate that is really upset with you isn't a good idea. And if this is something where she's willing to move out because of it, and then you have to find a new roommate, I think that would just not be fun either. So I think to keep the peace, you should just split the bill 3 ways. But that's just my opinion. Hello, this story is from Am I the Asshole? Likely Panda asks, am I the asshole for teaching my stepson how to ride a bike? 3 years ago, I married the second love of my life. I was a widower and brought in my 2 boys, 16 and 14, to our family, while my wife brought in her 11-year-old son, Josh, and we together adopted our 7-year-old, Adam. I consider all the boys my sons, and I'd give away every cell of my being to keep them safe. Josh's biological father, John, has him for 1 week. For every 2 weeks we have him. John doesn't like me very much, and I can't say I'm fond of him, but we are generally cordial for the sake of Josh. A few weeks ago, Adam said at dinner that he wanted to learn how to ride a bike. I said of course, but my wife seemed a little hesitant to the idea. My wife and Josh then admitted that they have never rode a bike before. My 14-year-old then asked them if they wanted to learn, and after Adam said it would be really cool, they both said yes. We decided to make a family event out of it and spent over an hour in the park every day before dinner teaching them how to bike. 2 weeks later, when it was time for Josh's week with his father, Adam and my wife were both able to paddle a short distance on 2 wheels, and Josh was able to bike the whole way around the park without any training wheels. Today, John and his wife started yelling at me as they dropped off Josh. Once I made sure Josh was out of hearing distance, my 16-year-old brought him inside since my wife was upstairs with a migraine. I asked John what his problem was. He said that I was an a-hole for teaching another man's kid how to bike, and that I stole a very valuable bonding moment between a father and son. I said that it was a nice bonding moment between father and son, seeing as I consider Josh my son and believe he sees me as a father figure, and that he had 11 years to teach Josh how to. I told him to leave, and that we'll see him in 2 weeks when he picks Josh up again. I reassured my sons and my wife that everything was alright, and we just ate dinner. After a family bike ride, as I'm writing this post, now I kind of get where he's coming from. Watching my boys now, all 4 of them, and my wife take their first pedals without me holding on to them is truly an amazing moment. I'd be devastated if that was taken away from me. However, I think John just missed his chance. He had almost 12 years to teach him. If he really wanted to, he would have. Am I the A? Absolutely not. You are right. That man had 12 years and did not do it. I'm with you, OP. He had 12 years. He should have done it if that was something that was important to him. And it was something that he asked you to do. If he wanted his dad to teach him, he would have asked his dad, but he didn't ask his dad. He asked you. I think you're in the clear. And for all you know, he may have asked his dad at some point and his dad said no. And again, that's his problem because he didn't do it when he should have.